Brooke Fraser, thanks for stopping by.
Hello.
How's it going?
Thank you for having me by.
Absolutely. You come all the way from New Zealand, so we're glad you can make the trip.
Oh, thank you.
So do you live, I've seen that you are in LA now, you're like relocated out here?
No, actually.
Okay.
I've lived in Sydney, Australia for 7 years. But it is true that I am only there about 1 month a year. So I'm not sure where, and actually technically we don't have a home at the moment. We stay with my mother-in-law when we're back in Sydney.
Oh, fun.
Which is great. She's Scottish, so she makes us like comfort food. So
Nice.
and she's very lovely. So that's good. But eventually my ambition is to have a place that is mine. But for now, that place is The Road, and Holiday Inn is my favourite because they have free internet and their pens last for ages. So yeah, I suppose you could say, yeah, I'm from New Zealand originally. My heart home eventually will be in Australia, but I am currently a citizen of the world, a nomad, a gypsy, a travelling person.
So I heard a story about your guitars. They're
Yes.
named after specific individuals.
Yes.
So what's all that about?
Well, it's true, my instruments are named, but it's not because I'm crazy. It's actually because they are they're limited editions, the signature editions of those people. So my B team guitar is Martin. I play Martin acoustics, though I'm not sponsored. But if Martin wanted to give me any guitars, I wouldn't say no.
It's a good shout out.
Yeah, but I play Martin Eric Clapton signature. But then my favourite is my Paul Simon. So my guitars are Eric and Paul, and then I have a Gretsch as well, but I haven't named him, so he's just called Gretsch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So I liked how your latest album, you kind of went out and said you don't want anyone else to influence it as far as production-wise. So you're pretty in control of your own music as far as you know what it wants to sound like.
Yeah.
So going in, do you know exactly what you want to do, or is it just kind of you let that creative process flow?
I think I did, this last album of mine, my third album, Flags, it's the first album that I've produced of my own, and really it was just that I was really attached to the songs that I'd written and had a very strong sense of the identity of these songs. And often I suppose as an artist you hire a producer because you like their particular sound and you think that they can interpret your songs in a particular way that you're after. And for me, with this particular collection of songs, there wasn't anyone else's stamp that I wanted on it. I felt that the songs wanted to be made like they were created in a really organic atmosphere and in community. And so I felt really that the best way to produce the album was just to put a bunch of amazing musicians and good people in a room, sit in a circle and press record. And so that's what we did. And it's not a perfect album, but it's a really kind of raw and warm and kind of living record. And so I'm really proud of what we've done, and I'm not sure what I'll do in the future, but I kind of am I suppose a bit follow my instincts like that.
Nice. I read a cool story about you that really stuck out to me. You were it was almost after your last album, you were just almost seemed burnt out, and then you went to Coachella, and
Yes.
it was just awe-inspiring for you, and you were able to just get completely re-inspired. What was that all about?
Yeah, I think it was second record. I toured for a really long time, and the material was quite heavy. The name of the album was Albertine, and Albertine was a girl that I met on my first trip to Rwanda in 2005, and an orphan, a survivor of this horrific genocide that happened in Rwanda in 1994. And so the material was quite informed by those experiences there in Africa and kind of some pretty gut-wrenching and traumatic stuff. So touring that album and singing those songs for almost 3 years was pretty costly, in a good way, but at the same time, at the end of that, I was pretty burnt out and kind of like, what do I say now? What happens from here? And I hadn't been able to write for quite a long time, kind of felt quite stuck and in a rut, and then found myself at Coachella just for one night, and it was just this, I had this moment where we were, in the middle of the desert, and one of my favourite bands, Fleet Foxes, took a side stage, and the sun was going down, and there were the mountains and the palm trees in the background.
Perfect setting for it.
Perfect, and it was like everyone around me was in a great mood, and then the Fleet Foxes just started playing, and their harmonies just kind of filtered through the sound system, and it was just this moment where I was reminded of the purity and the power of music and how it brings people together and the community that it creates, and remember that I have the privilege of being able to make music, and for some people maybe being able to create that same sense of community with my songs, and I figured, I realised then that I would be lying to myself if I moved to Ohio and became a librarian with lots of cats or something, and so that was kind of the first moment where I suppose that the spark kind of alighted again, you might say, and so kind of slowly but surely the melodies and the lyrics kind of started to rain once again.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.